We have three examples of news organizations actually having the guts and a sense of journalistic responsibility, and they actually ask a question that was value-laden, one that says, in and of its very interrogatory, that they care about civility, decency, and responsibility in public discourse, and by God, we want to give them credit. We're going to start with ABC's Jake Tapper, talking with presidential counselor Valerie Jarrett.
Obviously, those threats and the acts of violence should be condemned. They're not appropriate. But is it appropriate for Democrats to try to raise money off of those threats?
Look, let's go back to the threats for the second. I think that what's great about our country is that we're able to have an open and free debate about issues and ideas. And then once a decision is made, we always come together and move forward. And what the president is interested in doing is moving forward. This is a major accomplishment.
Right, but what about trying to raise money off of the threats? Is that appropriate?
You know, I can't comment on what the political arms are doing.
You can't comment on decency, civility, correct behavior? That in and of itself, Valerie Jarrett, is an awful, awful indictment of the administration of which you are a major part. On CBS, Bob Schieffer pressing Democratic National Committee Chair Tim Kaine about it. Kaine, you remember, was the ringleader of using these incidents and threats to drum up support for the Democrats, fundraising, so Schieffer took him to task. Yes, Bob Schieffer said he will stand up for what matters. He's no longer neutral, folks. He actually thinks there are certain ideals and values that should be honored in American society. Here's Bob Schieffer and Tim Kaine.
Let me just ask you about this, because you all put out a fundraising letter at the DNC. After all of this, it raised a few eyebrows because it talked about this these runaway things, these demonstrations, bricks through the windows and stuff, and then used it as part of a fundraising letter. Was that appropriate?
Well, Bob, I'll tell you why we did it. We did put out a fundraising letter referring to the bricks through the window and others, but also referring to the fact that our members who voted for health reform last Sunday are being hit by onslaughts of advertising in their districts, criticizing them, some with the most extreme language. One of my jobs as party chair is I want to be on TV thanking our members and praising them for doing an important thing for the American public. So I did. I sent out an email and I said, look, our folks are under attack who did a good thing, and I want to be able to put ads up on the air to protect them.
There you go, Tim Kaine. You know, the American people are listening to this, and I got to tell you just a little word of advice to the Democratic savants. You keep this up with the language. You continue to torture meaning and honesty and straightforwardness, and I think you're going to pay a hell of a price, an even greater price in November. But that apparently is the talking point for the Democrats right now. And over on CNN, my former colleague, Candy Crowley, who I think is one of the, if not the best political journalists working, put the question to David Axelrod. And she did get a pretty direct answer from the ringleader of the Obama administration fundraising political circus. And, of course, he couldn't resist playing politics. Go get him, Candy.
In your view, were these Democratic fundraising letters okay?
I think that they were within the parameters of acceptable fundraising. I would rather there were not events around which to send out missives like that. And I know at the end of the week that Governor Kaine, the chairman of the Democratic Party, reached out to the chairman of the Republican Party and said, let's issue a joint statement urging a change in tone. And unfortunately, Mr. Steele, the Republican chairman, felt he couldn't join in that.